chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube Studio. Oh, by the way, we're live now. Woo!
Whoa!
I think. Yep. All right, it's live.
We're doing it. Let's start with the all-important question that we did during the warm-up. Why are they called thumbnails?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe on like Microsoft Windows 95 or something, they were literally the size of a thumbnail.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, if I put my thumb in that close. Anyway, high-quality content for everyone.
Yep, good content. This is why people come to the show. Hello, everybody who is watching live, which literally right now is 0 people. But anyway, if you're watching after the fact, hello to you as well. We're just doing a bit of an old random show in the spirit of Tim Ferriss. So just, I don't know, just talking about all the random stuff that comes up loosely connected to AI.
Really, you and I don't feel like you and I have caught up in like a month. So
yeah,
this is the real reason. We just thought we'd record it and catch up.
What better way to do it than to do it live, eh?
A tax-deductible way to catch up.
Yeah, definitely, because we've definitely structured this in a way that makes it tax deductible because we're intelligent like that. It's definitely not our own money just being spent on, microphones and other stuff.
Wait, you don't have the high output AI credit card number? I haven't sent that to you.
Yeah, it's a high interest, high output.
We're $100,000 in debt.
Oh yeah, good. It's just you buying fridges and stuff. I'm just going to turn off this fan because despite it not probably being too loud, it's louder than I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
We also just recorded an episode which will come out, I don't know, Friday.
I reckon I'll get it out on Wednesday just to
spice things up.
Yeah, well, we missed one last week because of my crappy internet.
Yes, we did. But your internet is fixed now. You're in
I'm at home for the first time.
Permanent location, yeah.
Yeah, for the first time in 10 months, this will be the standard background, which I'm very excited for.
That is good, man. That is good. I
mean, home.
Without accidentally doxing yourself, let the people know what's new with you, man.
So I now live in Melbourne. So, why don't we just talk about ourselves a bit? I don't think anyone knows about us, but really.
Probably not.
Yeah. So I'm in Melbourne. I work in the investment space. And moved down here. I'm now living on the water down on Melbourne. So if I can see the water, if I do that out that window. And I just moved into a spot here. It's lovely. I'm in a building which just seems to be full of like really nice people. Like I had a note in my door left about someone letting me know where the compost bin was, like the local compost bin. So had a wine with Carol the other night, who's this lady that lives in the apartment. She like welcomed me and offered me a glass of wine, which was nice. So it's a little wholesome life I've got going over here.
Oh, I like it, mate. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice.
I bought my first bed in my life as well, which is exciting.
Oh,
I've only ever rented furnished. So
yeah, well there you go. Look at you being an adult and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, for our very international viewer base, Melbourne is in Victoria, in Australia. So Tom and I live in the same continent now.
Which is exciting.
Basically
the same time zone.
Yeah.
For half the year.
Yeah, Queensland, where I am, does not have daylight savings for some reason, even though it's like on the same longitude as Sydney and Melbourne, basically, which do have daylight savings, which is
I've heard because it's really, there's one good argument, which is it's a really wide state. And so the most western part would be, if it was an hour forward, the sun would be rising at the sun would be setting at like 10 or 11 or something like that. I don't know.
I'd say 90% of the population lives in a very similar longitude. But anyway, we digress. I mean, we should get into this after this because obviously Tom and I, we used to be co-founders of a startup and, we won't get into too much of the nitty gritty, but that's how all this started. But mate, what do you, I know the answer, but let the people know. What do you do for work now?
Yeah, so I work in growth equity now. So like kind of the level after venture capital. So companies are starting to go to the next level and need a bit of money. So I work for a fund here in Australia. Get to see some great businesses, meet some great founders. It's fantastic. Not as much, we don't do as much tech as a venture capital would do, but it's just amazing some of the stories of the people that we meet. Can't tell you too much about it on a live stream probably breaches some form of confidentiality.
That's
But
right.
we do invest in a couple of tech businesses as well, both hard tech and also software as well. But I'm really enjoying the work at the moment.
Very
Your
good.
your work is a bit more applicable to the podcast. I can't wait till I start seeing AI companies come across my desk though.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, have you seen any?
I've forwarded on a few companies already to the venture capitalists that we know from back in the day when we were running Maxwell Plus. But yeah, um, there hasn't been too much deep tech that I've seen,
Yeah, right.
let alone AI.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, we can't really touch that stuff at growth equity stage, like the deep tech stuff, because it's generally, yeah, it's kind of 0 or 1. It either happens or it doesn't. Whereas we're kind of like looking for a 90% chance that you'll still be there. Like we'll get our money back.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. So closer to the sort of private equity type mentality rather than the traditional
Yeah,
VC gamble.
yeah, exactly. I could see us doing co-investments with both private equity and also venture capitalists at some point, for the right company.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Man, cool, man. And you're enjoying it? Change of pace from what we were doing before.
Oh, it's different. It's different in good and bad ways, right? Like obviously, like being your own boss is amazing, and getting to work with your friend every day and be solving problems and working in healthcare was really rewarding. But I think probably what I get more from this job than I did from being a co-founder was like it's actually just really nice to have clear direction from people that have been doing it for 10 years. That's actually really nice to not. And my colleagues are really good, like different backgrounds and all like the right level of ambitious, but everyone's got shit going on outside work too, which is
Yeah,
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, man. And so if people want to show you their pitches, should they? Are you open to getting pitched by random people?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I haven't mentioned who I work for, but I work for the Australian Business Growth Fund, which is a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, you can look us up. But yeah, just hit me up on Twitter or Discord if you want to. If you want to send your stuff our way.
You may live to regret that, mate. I put the Discord link in the chat for this live stream, so you can get that there. It's also in the show notes for a bunch of our stuff. So we haven't been posting much in there, but we probably should post some more.
Yeah, we should.
Rather than just text each other all the stuff that we eventually put in the show notes anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually thinking maybe we could talk a little bit about our process for the show as well, but and like how we kind of prepare for it in different ways.
Prepare is probably a steep term for a lot of the stuff that we do.
Yeah, before we get into that, tell the people what you're up to, mate.
Yeah,
because you're a lot more applicable.
Well, I mean, yes and no. It's still a very different space. I think I'm in. So I work for a company called Explorate. It's a Series A to B, so in that sort of gap stage startup here in Australia, in logistics. So supply chain, freight forwarding, and logistics. So we do move freight. So literally move things from A to B. Anything that's sort of 300 kilos and up. We have shipped sharks to Dubai, face masks to pandemic-ridden areas, and pretty much anything you can think of in between. It's kind of wild. So I'm head of product there. I've been there since November. I know a lot of the team there. The founder, or one of the founders, I knew from before I joined, and then the CTO and head of engineering I've known for a long, long time. So it's really awesome. It's just an amazing culture. We've got teams in.
How many people are you?
60 something. Yeah. So we were like 62 at the end of last year, about 30 the year before that. So, a lot of growth in that 12 months before I joined. We got teams the HQ's in Brisbane, which is where I am, up in Queensland. We've got an office in Melbourne and South Australia, and we're about to get an office in Sydney. We got some people in Sydney, but they don't yet have an office yet. And hopefully we'll be, international at some point in the next, 12 to 18 months. I don't think there's any secret there that logistics is a global problem and we're looking to get bigger. But yeah, look, I'm head of product, which is a new role for the company. It's been awesome. Part of the sort of wider tech team, really trying to work out everything we could possibly build and then everything we should build, and trying to land somewhere in the middle there with everything we can build with the team that we have. But they're great people. It's quite exciting. I think where there's parallels with what we were doing at Maxwell Plus is that it's one of those industries where, like, if you got something on a fax or a printed piece of paper, it just wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
There's just like so much ingrained process. And I think there's a lot of naive companies in this space which are like, oh, we're just gonna disrupt and digitize and flip the script and all this stuff. And I think what's great about the team that I work for is, there's a lot of sort of logistics veterans there, and they know that, like, you don't disrupt these kind of industries. You displace things, you start companies that grow and change the game, but you don't just switch, the whole world to some digital solution overnight. It just doesn't happen that way. So
the saying of the market will stay irrational longer than you stay solvent kind of like reminds me of both the medical and freight space, where everybody knows that faxes are out of date and there's a better way to do it, but my God, they will use faxes longer than you will stay solvent as a company if you try and fix that problem.
Yeah, that's it, man. And bringing this back a little bit to AI, there's a lot of people saying they're doing AI and fucking blockchain in this space.
Still a thing?
Yeah, sadly, it's still a thing. There's still a lot of crypto stuff. I mean, apologies to any of the blockchain enthusiasts that are watching. But I think, that stuff might help, but there's a low risk tolerance, much like medical. People just don't want to risk, like, their goods, the lifeblood of their business, like getting the raw materials or the raw products to their business. Like, everything has to work, because if
the upside of experimentation is not that big in a million-year-old industry.
That's it, man. 100%. And like, there's this document, right, in the logistics world called the Bill of Lading. And it is, And
it sounds like a great movie.
It's like a Viking English word. That's how long
I've never heard of lading before.
Yeah. It's like an old English Viking inspired word, which is basically like loading. It's just like the precursor to the word loading. But that's how long these processes have been in place. And it's one of those industries where, like, whoever holds the physical piece of paper is the rightful owner of all the goods. And there are disputes because, like, somebody left the piece of paper in their manila folder and we can't get a fax copy because it's not the legitimate copy and all this sort of stuff. So these kind of industries, like, there's like a whopping amount of data, as you can imagine. And we've got some cool initiatives on the boil that I think will use a lot of AI and make a lot of difference in that space. But there's a lot to figure out before that becomes front and center priority.
Yeah. And what can you tell us about, like, any work with AI that you're doing directly?
So some of the stuff that we are looking at is about predictability on sort of arrival times and things like that. I wouldn't even go as far as to call it AI. It's very much like statistical methods and reliability. We get a lot of mixed signals about, where containers are, let's say, from the shipping lines, from data providers, from satellite imagery, from all sorts of stuff. And we got to try and compile that into something that we can tell a customer, which is your goods will be ready for collection at this date, which is like a whole lot of work for ultimately, like, that little estimated time of arrival number that pops up when you click a "where is my package" type thing. But that's one of them. Freight rates. So the amount of money that you'll pay to, like, ship, let's say, one container worth of goods from Shanghai to Brisbane.
Yep.
The last 2 years, they've just been like all over the shop. COVID has really messed that up. Weird global events really messed that up. And trying to get some predictability for ourselves and for customers on that is another initiative that we're pretty keen on. But early days for both of them. I mean, they're both public enough that I can say that much. I obviously can't get into the details, but I think they're both important initiatives that hopefully we'll start to see, come into fruition over the next 12 months.
What other, like, random little nuggets of niche information have you picked up, like the Bill of Lading, from your time that you never expected to know about in your life?
Oh, I don't know. I know a lot of acronyms about, like, different container types and all this sort of stuff that I genuinely never thought I would know. But I don't know. It's a cool industry in a way, in that it's just like the Wild West in a lot of ways. Like stuff just moves around in such weird and wacky ways, and like I like those sort of spaces because you can dive in and you can just like start solving problems and building processes and things like that. And you know me, I'm a very process driven guy, and to be able to like put those processes in place and think like, some massive supplier, some theoretical massive supplier, let's say Google shipping all their Android phones, they're not one of our customers, but I wish, into Australia, like being able to manage that sort of workflow of moving their product in and getting enough Pixel phones in the various JB Hi-Fis so that they're never out of stock, but they're never overstocked and all that sort of stuff. It's a
like
cool problem.
optimizing some what's the Japanese method? The Shinso
Oh, the
to the
Shingo.
Toyota way.
Yeah,
Shingo,
the non-stock production.
Yeah. Demand driven rather than demand pull rather than supply push.
Yeah,
for inventory.
And that's, I guess that's a good way to frame what we're doing, is that like to do that stuff really well, you need good predictability and good visibility. And like right now, it just doesn't exist. So we're trying to build it. So yeah, that's us. So Expirate, Brisbane company, awesome group of people. We are somewhat always hiring. So if you are a developer or work in logistics or just a good person, go to expirate.co. I don't know who owns expirate.com. It's a bit of a contentious topic internally, but expirate.co, and get in touch because there's a lot of good people and we could always use more.
Oh, just hit Elliot on Twitter.
Yeah, yep. Or Mastodon these days. I kind of gone off Twitter, man. It's become a bit of a
Mastodon. I've never used it.
It's basically, well, I've posted like 2 things and have like
small things I've posted on Twitter.
2 followers. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's much the same. I'm kind of off the whole thing, to be honest. Like Twitter and Mastodon and all this. Like the whole saga that it's gone through recently really, I think, dusted off a lot of the like false allure that was there around how important it was. This global town square. Turns out that much like actual town squares, if you went to one today, they're not really that important anymore.
Yeah, I also saw as well that I regularly go through these flips of like, I should be on Twitter, especially with like the podcast, right? To be like, I should release the show notes on Twitter every week and stuff like that. But it just caused me like doing this. I love doing this, chatting with you, pressing the record button and going, I love doing that. But like being on Twitter and posting stuff on Twitter or LinkedIn just like hurts my insides.
Yeah, 100%. It's so fake. Like the reply guys and the thread boys and all that sort of stuff. Like it's just, I don't know. It's like lowest common denominator content generation to me.
90% of Twitter now seems to be like at Readwise remember.
Yeah. At mem.ai, mem it or whatever they say.
Yeah. So what else are you like kind of experimenting with on the internet at the moment, mate? Or not even on the internet? What are you playing with outside of work if you get some time?
I bought a little server to set up at home just to start putting some stuff together. It's not anything that can do any AI stuff. I've got a bit of money tucked away to set up a new AI machine at some point this year, but just playing with that, just getting that up and running, connected to the internet. Just for like, I don't know, those weird little self-hosted projects like data scraping and backups of stuff and all that. So nothing too crazy. Been playing around a little bit with like Rust and this other programming language called Erlang.
What's that?
It's like a real old school high concurrency programming language, and there's this framework on it called Phoenix, which seems to be pretty popular at the minute. I haven't used it before, so I just
what application
spun up a little. It's mainly web stuff, so it'll be for like writing web servers and stuff. But I don't know, not much. Doing a lot of running, getting out of the house.
Yeah, we're both running. Well, I'm not running because I broke my damn toe.
Yeah, still.
I've been cycling. I'm going to go for a run on the beach here tomorrow morning to give it a go. Like I just feel like I think it's been about 4 weeks now. It's feeling better. So yeah, I'll hopefully get out. But yeah, we're both doing the Goldie Marathon this year.
That's it. Yeah. If you ever want to
Yeah.
meet us in person, come do the Gold Coast
Yeah.
Marathon.
Hopefully we'll wear high output AI shirts.
We definitely should get high output AI running vests.
Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. You're smashing the running. Seeing you on Strava.
Yeah, it's been good, man. It's been good. Bloody hell, it's hot though. Like it was like 35 degrees yesterday when I went for a
Yeah.
run. I got like halfway through and I was like, I cannot breathe. Like the air is too hot to breathe right now. So,
So
yeah.
what are you using as your process to like track? Like what kit are you running?
Yeah, I did just actually. Well, I got some new running shoes. They're not very exciting. I just had
Oh.
literally.
You didn't get the carbon fiber Nikes. I'm gonna get a pair. I'm gonna get a pair for the actual race.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I've got like super flat feet, so I need a ton of support in my shoes. So I just bought like, basic bitch running shoes with a bunch of arch support in them.
Yeah, good.
And then I've got this new workout app called Work Outdoors. Mainly because like it's really good on the Apple Watch. So I got the
Wait, have you got the Ultra?
I got the Ultra, man. I got it for Christmas.
Ooh,
It's really good. Like
yeah,
I wanted it because it was new and it was shiny and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
had an Apple Watch before this for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And then I got it as a Christmas present and it's been awesome. I love it.
yeah.
Like
How's the battery life with it?
it's good, man. Like it's never run out of battery.
Yeah.
I will typically like throw it on for a charge when I get back from a run and I'm having a shower. And
Yep.
that's the only time I really ever think about
But
battery.
how are you supposed to track your shower calories?
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. I do think about that. Maybe I need to use my old Apple Watch as just the shower watch
Yep.
and then have this watch for.
I think you need to wear
running.
two,
Yeah, true.
alternating.
Yeah.
Because you can get the Apple Watch and the Whoop band.
Yes, no, definitely.
Oh man, I am like clearly in Whoop band's target audience, and they are being relentless with their internet marketing at me.
Yeah.
I might crumble one day, but
Yeah, I was tempted for a while. But I think it's one of those things where like it just seems so cool, but I reckon after like 2 weeks it'll be like sleep more, eat better, run more.
yeah. My friend has one, and it's like Monday to Friday. He's like green. His his internal battery that it measures is like fantastic, and then like it gets to like Sunday evening, and it's like, please stop drinking and please sleep.
Yeah.
It's like I reckon if like he's almost like put it negative at one point.
Yeah. I'm very skeptical about a lot of that stuff, especially like this whole like algorithmic optimization stuff. I don't know, even like the recovery stuff, like the Garmin one was all right. It was always just like train again in 24 hours. It's like, cool. I wasn't gonna train again today. Thanks.
Mine tells me I always need like 64 hours to recover. I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't know, man. One
I
thing
also hate
Yeah.
the like you had a bad sleep. You should like you're like no shit.
Yeah.
I know I had a bad sleep. I feel like shit.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, coming back to running a bit, like I've been my process is like just do 4-ish hours a week in zone 2.
Yeah.
But one thing I've learned recently is the zone 2 is just not well defined. Like
Nah.
there's so many estimates and all this sort of stuff. So, for those that are not into running, it's sort of below your lactic threshold. It's sort of conversational pace. The sort of, you could keep running there pretty much indefinitely. And if you had a pocket full of gels, you could probably keep running there forever. And a lot of the recent science is that, running in that, even if you're not going fast, you can get a lot of stamina and a lot of endurance and a lot of speed out of it. But it's so hard to find a consistent way to measure zone 2.
Yeah, like I kind of use the Peter Attia definition, right? Which is like, like the Peter Attia definition is you are not producing lactate, which is like you're operating at a level where like your energy and your oxygen in equals like the it equals like basically what your muscles are outputting. But if you go above that threshold, your muscles have to exert a little bit more and they start to produce something called lactate, and that kind of like causes the burn. And so like technically the way you're meant to do it is like And so that's like the definition of zone 2 people seem to agree on. But then translating that to like heart rate or breathing is where it like gets messy, because like your zone 2, Elliot, will be different to my zone 2 just because we're different people.
Yeah.
And then obviously like we're the same age, but as soon as you chuck in age and things like that. And so they use these markers of like heart rate. So like you can hear anything below 130 or below 140, but also like the idea is like you should be able to have like I find this probably the best, which is like you should be able to have kind of have a conversation, but with it, but or is it like you're kind of out of breath if you're having a conversation with it or something like that? But
yeah. So a lot of proxies. I mean, I'm sure we will see at some point like a device zone 2 estimating lactate threshold kind of thing, which would be kind of cool. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, apparently you can go to places and do the like treadmill lactate blood test, and they'll give you a personalized heart rate and all this other sort of stuff. But I don't know how accurate even that would be beyond the day.
Do you reckon Strava will bring out their own hardware?
I have thought about this and about
I thought
they
should buy Garmin, or Garmin should buy Strava.
I reckon I was thinking about this the other day. I reckon Google should buy Garmin.
But they just bought Fitbit.
Yeah, no, but they can buy more than one. I don't know. I think if Google bought Garmin and released like watch products that lasted for like 10 days, not even the 30 days that some of these Garmin products do, but had Android capabilities, I think that would be a pretty big game changer for them.
Yeah, like I just upgraded. I just got the Garmin. I just got there was like half price, and so I got it for my birthday. It was like I think it was 745. I don't know. It's like triathlon-y one.
Yeah.
And yeah, like battery life's really good. Like I don't need too much. Like I like that it does a 945. I like that it does heart rate and stuff like that. I like that the battery lasts a long time. It's good that it does open water swimming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like it like notifies me of 1 in 3 calls. Like that's the only notification that I have on for it. Like I don't want text messages or anything on it.
Yeah.
And it like reminds me 1 in 3 calls. It seems to like sometimes be connected to my phone, even though my phone's not like ages away, and then it's like just not connected to my phone. Like UX on Garmin is like I'm an Apple product person. It's just not as slick as Apple. And like I nearly went to the Apple Watch because of that. And also I had an issue with Garmin where it just like the tracking of distance was like off by 25%, and like when you're training for a marathon, that's like pretty bad. And I know this because I did a marathon and I said I ran 50k. I'm like, well, no, I objectively just ran 42.1 kilometers. So
yeah, right.
And so I was like, and I couldn't fix it. It was because it wasn't connected to the satellite, and I went hard and I like factory reset, plug in the computer, everything, and it just wouldn't fix it. So
yeah, but I mean, coming back to Strava, I have been thinking a lot recently about like, are they still relevant? You know, like there's so many like other places you could post workouts, but they seem to really have endured despite that. Like, you know, I record my workouts in other apps and then synchronize them to Strava.
Yeah. I was listening to this podcast the other day, and this made me think of Strava, right? And we've got a mutual friend who like basically uses Strava as their is one of their most prominent social media.
For sure.
And I was listening to this podcast. It was the Tim Ferriss one with Bill Gurley, and he was like, and it's like Tim was like, oh, any startups you'd love to see? And he's like, yeah, I'm still waiting, and I have been for the last decade, for like connect with everyone who likes the thing that you do. And he gives an example of like quilting or something. It's like join the subreddit equivalent, like social media equivalent for quilting kind of thing. And Strava is that to some extent for cycling. It started in cycling, and it started to like probably annoy people a little bit but it's now running and swimming. I don't think they're going too much more, but like, yeah, like what other social media, like Strava is there's only one that sits out there as like social media-esque, but for a specific vertical.
There's one that I've seen a couple of people I know use is Untapped, which is like you like log the beers that you drink. For people that are like super into beers.
Oh, nice.
As opposed
like the
to
wine
like,
one as well. Like where you take
Yeah. So that one, I'm sure there's more out there that like we're just not in the niche that it's targeting.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's the higher output AI Discord for those that are
seriously into AI products. Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, I was just thinking, do you listen to any AI related podcasts?
I can't find any.
Yeah, I've listened to a few, and
Like-
then they're not very good.
I listen to Lex Friedman, but that's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
he's good.
probably I don't, it's just it's turning into Tim Ferriss, which is
Yeah,
like I really like
yeah.
Lex Friedman stuff. I'm not saying, but like and there's also that stuff recently around like is he really at MIT and all that stuff?
What?
Did you see that?
No.
Oh, someone had a go at him for like he's not really an MIT professor or something like that, and like
Oh,
yeah, I don't. He was a bit annoyed at it. I don't know how true or like the attacks were, but yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, um, but yeah, he just interviews like great people like
yeah.
Andre Carpathe. Oh, speaking of which, have you really watched his chat? His like recreate GPT thing?
No, I haven't, but I've watched a couple of his other ones about
Yeah.
some of the sequence prediction stuff. Here's a real knack for like teaching people to do stuff.
Oh, it's really good. It's
Yeah.
really good. Hey.
Really accessible.
Yeah, and like he just makes it, he's so good at teaching that it makes it look easier. That's how good it, which is fantastic. He just like gives you the confidence to go ahead. Like I went and did that like bigram implementation
Oh
of
yeah.
what I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I did it as well. And he like does it on a Jupyter notebook on Google Colab just to show you how easy it is. And yeah, it's fantastic.
That's good, man. He's a good teacher.
I'm really excited to see what he does.
Yeah, me too. I do wonder what'll be next for him. I mean, he did say he wanted to get back to like teaching and community building sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
I wonder what
the other good thing that I learned from him as well is that I remember when we were making videos for a little bit. I was like, man, this takes so long to make a video. Turns out it takes him like 8 hours to make one of those as well, even though it runs for like an hour.
Wow.
Like 8 hours of prep, and then he records.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. YouTube. Yeah. I mean, look, if YouTube's going to release any sort of AI products, it should be a bunch of assistive editing stuff.
Yeah, I still haven't like I made that intro to making a like football and a rugby league like prediction model, and I still haven't released it because like I just can't see myself finding time in the next 3 months to make the second video for it. Like,
yeah, it is hard, man. It's funny, like looking at what does well on YouTube. Like, you can see how a lot of the like sort of low effort sort of meme videos and stuff thrive because you can produce them so quickly. But like,
yeah,
I don't know, there's a few channels. Well, there's plenty of channels that are doing like really hardcore stuff that takes a lot of prep, and then you've got the like massive studio size companies like Mr. Beast and stuff who obviously can pay other people to help. But there's a weird middle ground of like people who just really, really care about a thing, but like the effort to make that video and cut it up and put it out there is just like way too high.
Yeah, like I was watching Nerd Writer's thing that we mentioned in the previous podcast episode about ChatGPT, and I was just like, wow, the production value of this is like quite high. But it was like it was high for an individual that isn't a producer. I'm sure he probably has teams working for him, but it was just like at the level where I could be like, oh yeah, I could probably create something like this. Like it wasn't like animated or anything like that. It was like stock footage with music and like timings of things. Like it was that level, but I was like, wow, this would take me like 10 hours to make. And I know I'm not a video producer or editor or anything like that, but a lot of other people on YouTube aren't, and they're probably equivalent skill to me.
Yeah.
Like Ali Abdaal is probably a good example in the beginning. Like the quality that he produced early on must have taken a lot of work from him.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very in line with that whole like, that whole Cal Newport, like just be like, give a massive amount of care towards quality and don't do much stuff. So people just like pick a weird niche and then just go deep on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been thinking about doing something for the channel on like super intelligent, like just a couple of my opinions like on AI as to like why I care about it as someone who isn't a practitioner of it, and where I think like my relevance once again is like more in the investment space than the like technical application of it, and why I think it's important to focus on for people outside of the development world as well. And I was like, just writing the essay alone is like the easy part. It's the recording and the cutting up, but products like Descript and stuff like that should help with that.
Yeah, I edited our
And how
last
was it?
episode in
was
that. It was quite good. Like it took me. I did that classic thing of it's like, hey, do you want to do some onboarding and we'll show you how the product works? I'm like, nah, I'm smarter than you. I'll work it out. So and I'm not. So I ran into a couple of like, how the fuck do you do this basic thing?
Yeah, good.
But it's a good piece of kit. Like I'm sure there's like a million features that I don't quite know yet.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's a nice interface. It feels pretty simple. I would be interested to see what it's like to do a much more edited video. You know, obviously we just chop the front and the back off a lot of our videos and then put them straight up. If we had to do jump cuts and all sorts of transitions and a lot of editing, I don't know how to go. Not because I don't think it'd do well. I just have no gut feel for how well it would do.
Yeah.
But it's a very cool program.
Good. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like the future of these like very niche application editing content tools, right? Like it might stand alone, or might get bundled into DaVinci or Adobe bundles kind of thing, or something like that. Like
Yeah, or into YouTube. I reckon
true.
YouTube having something like this that does video transcription based editing, you know, select a bunch of text, turn those bits into shorts.
Yeah.
I think that would add a lot of fire behind what YouTube's doing.
Yeah, I still can't believe YouTube doesn't suggest shorts for us yet.
Yeah, it is odd, isn't it? Like you'd think that's something they'd be able to pick up on, just even snippets or even like not even shorts, just like, hey, this 5 minutes is pretty popular. Do you want to clip it into a draft video that then you can edit into a full one?
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll get there. Or maybe it does if you have a channel that has slightly more viewers and all that sort of stuff. Who knows?
Speaking of like video tools, you remember Clipchamp and how Microsoft bought them?
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
Clipchamp was just for reference, was a Brisbane startup. So Elliot and I are both from Brisbane in Australia, and it's a growing but small and tight startup community up there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was a great story. I think it was 2021. Yeah, 2021 when Clipchamp was bought by Microsoft. They did really well. Have you seen anything come out of Clipchamp or anything, or like how Microsoft just decided to use it? Has it rebranded or anything like that?
No, I know it's built into, like, if you got Windows 11, Clipchamp will be one of the default applications that your computer gets shipped with, which is kind of cool for them. Like that'll be a big win, I think, seeing something you built be a new default app. I haven't really been keeping up with it, to be honest. A lot of the people that I knew that worked there are now just, you know, part of the Microsoft team and hopefully not part of any of the recent reshuffling and layoffs. But, you know, given the quite narrow nature of the product, I imagine they'll integrate into the wider Microsoft space pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you reading at the moment, Matt? Any books? I imagine you're punching through the audiobooks as you're running.
Yeah, I'm listening to that new David Goggins book, just because it's one of those books that if you are running and you're listening to that and then you say, oh, I'm feeling tired, I might stop running, you feel guilty.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, just a bit of fiction, a bit of old sci-fi stuff that someone at work gave me a couple of books. They just moved house and they're like, hey, have you read these? So punching through a bit of sci-fi. What about you?
Good. My mum got me a book for Christmas called The Book of Roads and Kingdoms. It's this kind of cool book. It was written by an Australian musician called Richard something or other. Anyway, and the book is there, but it's like turned the wrong way, so I can't see the authors. I can say Richard something. Anyway, and it's this kind of cool premise of this book where it's like it's kind of it's the same title as a book that was written 1,000 years ago by this like Islamic traveler whose name I can't remember, and it was this man who kind of like traveled all the kingdoms and wrote about how Baghdad at the time was the center of the world, and he kind of writes about kingdoms during this like 1,000-year period to the east, to the south, to the north, and to the west of Baghdad at the time, and he just like tells history in a really beautiful tale and things like that. It's full of lots of fun, interesting facts and things like that, and it's also like it's predominantly set during like the Dark Ages, like after the plague kind of wiped out like 30% of the world or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
holy
right.
shit. 630 to like 660. Not a good time to be alive. It's like double plague plus a volcano went off, and it had like they called it like the year of two winters. Oh no, the year of no summer or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and so like crops failed. Like holy yeah, like terrible time to be alive.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it just talks about like from during that period onwards, kind of like to the 1400s, which is the Dark Ages in medieval Europe, but it was just like this like absolute time of enlightenment in the Eastern and the Islamic world, and it's just a part of like school history that going to like an English based school, like English the country based school, we just they didn't really focus on that. Instead, they decided to like teach us about like boring feudal lords just like enslaving their peasants instead of like algebra being invented in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm reading that. I've also reading the you know that trilogy, the fantasy trilogy that you put me onto that was like that won the award,
Oh,
each book in the trilogy.
yeah.
The first book's called The Fifth Season.
I just bought two of her other books. They're up on
Yeah.
my shelf. NK Jess Shim.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, really good books.
Yeah, I read the first one.
Yeah.
I just finished the first one. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, they all won the Hugo Award. Which
Yeah,
is
the
pretty
Hugo Award,
impressive
that's it.
to win it for a whole trilogy. Yeah, so this is what I'm reading, which is old school sci-fi deepness in the sky, which also
nice.
won the Hugo Award, funnily enough.
Good.
Yeah, that's a good book. Well,
I've
read
been
20 pages. It's good so far.
Chi Shin Lu, who wrote the World End series, which is the Three Body Problem, the Dark Forest. There's another book. I bought the set because I've just been buying sets of books that I really enjoyed, like the hard copy. If I like audioed it or read it on Kindle, and in that set came a fourth book as well that I hadn't read, so I'm going to read that.
Oh, cool! There you go.
Yeah, it's like the End of the Earth or something.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. You gaming much?
Not really, man. Not really much at the minute. Can't have a new Zelda game to come out though.
Oh yeah.
It's in May or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I just love that it's still like I know like they haven't upgraded the Switch yet as well. Like I enjoy that as well, that I don't have to like be the like, oh, do I have to buy a whole new console to play this game?
Yeah, definitely. It's not like here's a photorealistic Ganondorf. It's like people don't care about that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I just need a TV now to be able to get my Switch on too.
You can get a cheap TV these days. They're not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say something insightful about Zelda, but I've now completely drawn a blank. Quickly, take over.
Very good. I don't know. I don't know.
Any new like little gadgets or anything you bought recently?
No, not really. I've been trying to avoid just buying more crap. Other than that little server that I bought, but that was like $200. I just bought like a refurbished Think Center off Amazon for $200.
Yeah, nice.
It works pretty well for what it needs to do. And then last year I bought all this audio gear, so I'm just holding back on that.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the audio. This is the final audio gear purchase. I'm done. Oh, except I need new headphones because I can't plug directly into my.
Yeah.
Well, and do I run a podcast if I can't?
That's it, man. Like, what is even the point if you don't have big boy headphones like me?
Yeah, exactly. And what did I commit to? 1,000 subscribers, and I'll buy an XT4.
Yes. Tom got a comment from, was it a colleague or a friend?
They're a listener now, mate. They're a listener.
Oh, yeah, but we got to give a little bit more context.
Yeah, no, a colleague.
Who said they liked the show. So if you're watching, thank you for watching. But their feedback was that Tom's video looks crap compared to mine. So
It could have been a typo. It just said I look like crap compared to you, but
yeah, well, who knows? No one will ever know. But you should
no.
buy a new camera. X-T4 makes for a good webcam.
Yeah. Well, literally, the one that's just there is a old Fuji. It's the XT1, the version before you can use them, which is
Yeah,
annoying.
what a bummer. What a bummer.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
No, definitely. There's worse things happening. Yeah, good. I've just drawn a complete blank on any other random topics to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just. Oh yeah, what like I was going to ask you this as well. Like, you come across any good newsletters or content to consume recently? I've started following like MIT's. They call it like the algorithm. It's like a roundup. There's also another guy called Gary Marcus, who is a bit of he's an AI enthusiast, but a critic of the current like open AI trend.
Yeah.
That I've been following as well. He's just a good like different voice to hear. And then I've started following a guy called Vin ROI as well, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all in the AI space.
I've been using Readwise Reader a whole bunch, which is very, very cool. I strongly recommend that to anybody who's keen on this sort of stuff. But
I'm still a Matter user.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not find Matter that impressive in the end.
Yeah. I'm just now at this point where I've got so much lock-in because I've managed to like set up so many of my email subscriptions to forward to it that I can't be bothered to.
Yeah, fair. That is a good feature, I reckon, and a good way to lock people in because people don't want to have to resubscribe to all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's quite clever. Yeah, look, not too much, man. Like there's what's his name? I don't even know if it's a he. There is a Twitter account that I follow to get a bunch of AI stuff, which seems to be, I don't know, they just have this ability to read like a million papers and point out all the cool ones.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll get the name of that up. There's another one called cuttingedge.ai, I think it is, or bleedingedge.ai, which is just all of the sort of headline AI stories from the last little while. I frequent that from time to time to see if I've missed anything. Hacker News normally, but that tends to be a bit same after a while. Twitter's algorithm sucks. I cannot find this account anywhere. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll find it at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I've now that we've upgraded Obsidian and we have the shared vaults, I'm like back on the Obsidian train which is where we like kind of share our notes for how we're thinking about kind of where we script everything for the show. I use it a lot more in my personal as well. I just find it so easy to just like create a note and not have to worry about what to call it or how to. I just know that because it's got good search functionality, and now I've got it across every device as well. Like I find it really good.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we played with Notion for a while and we used it a lot at work, but I don't know, Obsidian's easy. Like,
I just also like as well that like it's just all markdown files as well.
Yeah, definitely. No, I like it. It's not bloated. We should find at some point a way to like use that Obsidian publish thing and just put our notes up so that we don't have to try too hard to get show notes up.
Yeah.
Because Tom and I I joked before that we don't do any prep, but we do. It's just usually like
there's like
before.
There's like 1,000 words written for the previous episode. Like
yeah, exactly.
Don't get me wrong, they're not all coherent and they're not perfect prose, but there's
1,200 words.
What I just what I do is I keep an eye on Hacker News during the week and like come up with a bunch of what's it called links, and then I do some specific searching as well towards the end of the week as we're prepping for the episode to come up with a few, especially around the deal book, to find deals that have come to happen.
Yeah. I'll throw a bunch of stuff.
And then these newsletters will probably end up resulting in like one or two things being added to the show.
Yeah, I put a bunch of stuff in Readwise, and then if it's good, I'll try and lump it in. I found that account on Mastodon rather than Twitter. I'll put it in the chat for the video. It's AKHALIQ. And they read a ton of papers and post great summaries about them. So
As in just in AI or?
Yeah, just in AI,
Yeah.
just AI papers. Yeah, it's quite cool. A lot of demos and all that sort of stuff. A little bit of stuff off YouTube, although not as much as I think previously. Like, I don't know, it is quite hard to find good content in this space or good sources of content. Like, and there's just a torrent of new publications. So actually reading everything is next to impossible.
Yeah, I also just I just also feel like when I'm in this space, like I follow a few people, but no offense, but I can tell that they're like engineers just out of university. Like there's very few like seasoned veterans in this space who's like have been talking on the topic for years. Like this Gary Marcus, this is why I like him. He's like been publishing on AI he's a psychologist by trade, but he's been publishing on AI and like kind of the mechanics behind it and the social aspect to it for probably a decade. And so like I know he's not a technical implementer of it, so like I don't look to him for that, but I do look to him for like general trends and general thoughts on it. And his point is that like Chat GPT is like an innovation, but this Chat GPT wave is like sure an innovation, but like there are some serious constraints, and we can't really consider it anywhere near sentience because it doesn't actually understand anything.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's the regurgitation of a bunch of other stuff. Like it can make.
Yeah. And so I'm really appreciating reading his stuff at the moment because not only is he a dissenting voice, well, like not even like a slightly different voice to the chatter at the moment as well. He's been in it and publishing in it for like, NYU for like a decade now. So that's why I like him. Whereas like some of these other ones, it's like one guy's definitely just a thread boy that releases and decides to like pick AI as his latest hustle.
Yeah. There is a lot of that. And a lot of pretty hot takes on Chat GPT, which just like don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Which is
Chat GPT will 10 industries Chat GPT will destroy.
Yeah, exactly. Or like why you need to drop everything you're doing and spend the next 6 months learning how to talk to Chat GPT. It's like, what? Like, you don't, people. Please, if anybody out there is thinking, I'm going to make a career on Chat GPT, like, there's not a career to be made. There's a career to be made on large language models or AI, but like any one of these individual tools, it's not going to be the last.
Yeah, it reminds me of that blog post that we talked about a couple times by Scott Thingo of Do the Real Thing.
Yeah, exactly. It is the Duolingo of speaking French. It's like it smells a bit like it, but you couldn't. I don't know. I'd be very skeptical of anybody who called themselves an expert in AI because they are, they've spent 400 hours with Chat GPT and that's it. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to rain on anybody's parade. I'm just saying, like, if you want to do this stuff, and it's a fucking exciting industry, and there's so much cool stuff going on, like, don't limit yourself. I'd hate for this to become the next NFT nonsense.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually have some credibility behind it, and some of these like really great applications that we're starting to see actually come to light. And I worry that the more people say, take my $700 course to become a Chat GPT prompt engineering master, I really just gonna make everybody real pissed off at this whole
black belt in Chat GPT.
Yeah, I'm certified Chat GPT Pro. Like, I don't know.
Oh, did you see that? Someone, like, I can't remember, it was like Atlassian or Meta or Microsoft just fired like 5,000 Scrum Masters or something. Like like Scrum Masters are dead.
Brutal.
Yeah.
There's always a bit of a kind of job.
Yeah. No, I think like no offense, but product managers could be another like future wave as well. There seems to be a lot of nebulous product managers out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, there's a lot of product managers who are actually just project managers, who are actually just Scrum Masters, who like yeah, it's kind of a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah. It's the consulting, like strategy consultant. Uh, what is it? Off ramp, being a product manager. I swear, everyone I used to work for is a product manager now. With
Yeah.
that, consulting is a product manager.
Yes, there is definitely a big smell of that. Like, coming in as this head of product role, I've been trying to find like where are other good product people and are there books and stuff to read and all this sort of stuff. Because while having done a lot of this stuff before, it was never really under the specific title of like product.
Yeah.
And so much of it is just so vapid. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't
What
know.
about like the name that comes to mind is that Lenny guy? Is he any good? Lenny, I know he's got a podcast and a Substack, and
I don't know who you mean, so you'll have to
okay,
send it
I'll
to me
send it
after
to you.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lenny. I've probably seen it once you've sent it to me, but off the top of my head, I've no idea. No idea. Tom's talking, but he doesn't realize that he's too far from the microphone for anyone to hear him. Got him.
Yeah, I got it. Letty's newsletter. I'll send it to you.
Creatively titled. Love it. I do think I have heard of Lenny's newsletter before.
Yeah. Mate, you're talking to I'm talking to the co-host of High Output AI. Like, let's not throw stones.
Oh no, not judging on the name. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows exactly what they're getting from our title. That's why we called it a High Output AI.
Yep. As opposed to we absolutely should start a podcast.
Hey, what do you reckon our next milestone for the potty should be? Like, we literally just recorded episode 30, which like, and we're gonna come up for a year anniversary in the next 3 months. Like, yeah, what's the next milestone for us?
Actually meeting our weekly schedule of uploads.
Hey, I think we're doing pretty good this year.
Yeah, we are. We're not doing too badly. I don't know. There's a lot of different directions we could go. Like it's I think what we've found is that doing a lot of the like, traditional YouTube video content is like too much time commitment given the amount of time that we have available.
Yeah.
And
it's not something that we draw energy from. It's not like I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to edit these videos.
The live streaming stuff is fun. Like this has been good. Those little I'm gonna play around with some AI model thing has been fun. So I think we could do a bit more of this. And I don't know. I'd like to get to the point where we have a group of people that'll come in and watch and ask questions, and we can do a little bit of stuff like that. I think the deep dives have been a great addition as well recently.
Yeah, I like that as well because I feel like I'm learning something or like relearning something every week rather than just like. And as we've said, we just don't want to become like a news cycle because like literally like last week we didn't publish for a day and then suddenly it was out of date and we're like, oh shit, we're gonna have to re-record.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like I want the users to like I want our listeners to just like walk away going like with some thought spurring stuff and to think and selfishly as well, as I said, I want to be learning as well in this space. And if I'm just like looking for news, I feel like we're a little bit regurgitating.
Yeah, for sure. Guests is probably another one I'd like to do.
Yeah, me too. I'd like
I don't know how we're gonna do that. I don't really know how people get guests other than I guess just asking them, but I think that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. It'll happen when it'll happen. Let's just keep going is the answer.
Just keep doing what we're
doing. I'm excited for like the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean I think that's a good metric to hit. It's just a weird arbitrary one, It's like it's not the next evolution of the show. It's just like, oh yeah, we crossed that number.
Yeah.
But it would be good. It would be good.
I think the real focus of the next like 3 months for me is like, as you said, just regular recording.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what we're doing.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, look, we're coming up on an hour. Do we have
Let's do it.
Many more to go? I'm happy to keep going, but
no, I'm also on 12% battery because I've got my the way my setup at the moment is because I haven't got a router yet. So I'm just like plugged directly into. Sorry, I don't have a modem. Yeah, a modem yet. So I'm plugged directly. Hang on, I don't have Wi-Fi. Is what I'm saying. I'm plugged directly in, and it's and it's USB-C, and I then have my other USB-C board taken up by my mic, and so there's no power.
All right, good. Well, in that case, let's wrap it up. Look, to everybody who is watching right now, which is 0 people concurrently, but that's fine. Everybody who watches this in the future and everybody that tunes into the show, thank you for being here. It was great to have you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. One day, just to round this out, like if people don't listen to the All In podcast, one of the guests on that says that all the time in that exact voice, and I feel like people are going to think we get all our content from the All In podcast, which we absolutely do not. It's just really catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Good stuff,
Goodbye
mate.
for real. Ta-ta.
Yeah.